Good morning and welcome again to NRG This Week. I'm Leon Thomas. I'll be co-hosting with NRG CEO and President Mike Weiner. Yes, that says Racquetball Revival. We'll talk about racquetball here this week on NRG This Week. Here we go. Welcome again to NRG This Week. I'm co-host Leon Thomas. NRG This Week can be seen every Wednesday on these same social media networks at 8 a.m. But if you don't want to wake up at 8 o'clock to watch the show, that's okay, because there are reruns running throughout the week. You can catch a replay and you can still see the show. You got to check out NRG This Week. So listen, if it's 5 o'clock where you are, you're on the West Coast, and you want to wake up at 5, great. Mike, care. NRG President Mike Weiner. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Leon, I am doing awesome. How are you this morning?
Mike, how you doing?
I am doing great, Leon. How are you this morning?
Everything is great. Everything is good. What's happening in beautiful Central Maryland, Mike?
Man, we got a lot going on. We have our last NRG experience before Thanksgiving at 7 o'clock tonight. We've got December 2nd coming up with the NRG extravaganza. We are going to have a membership increase in price January. So this is a time to join. This is the best time. We had 3 new members join Canada last week, Leon. We had an international breakout, and we had 3 in LA the week before. So things are zooming everywhere, and all is good in NRG land, buddy.
Mike, what do you mean they joined Canada? What, people left the U.S. to become Canadian citizens? What do you mean they joined Canada? What's that?
No. People that are in Canada have joined the NRG Canada group that meets on Monday at 3 o'clock Eastern every single Monday. So we're getting a lot, and we just had a testimonial video, our first international video testimonial. This lady, Stacy, has done like a 7-time ROI on her investment. She's been with me about 3 months.
All right. I love it. I love it. Good things are happening with NRG and with NRG members. Speaking of which, it's time for the Leon plug. Racquetball Revival. I want everyone to go to racquetballrevival.com and check out the cool things we're doing to help kids in the Baltimore area. And we're using racquetball as the hook. We teach kids racquetball at 4 years old. Yes, it's a pretty cool thing. Shut up. I don't want to hear it's too fast. The ball moves too fast for a 4-year-old. It doesn't move fast for a 4-year-old. It doesn't move at all. But please go to Racquetball Revival. Check out everything we're doing right there. Mike, we have a really cool guest coming on board with us today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest?
So I am honored to have Cynthia Greathouse with us today. She joined our Pittsburgh group about a year ago, practices law of attraction, a lot of what Bob Proctor preached. And Cynthia is amazing. We become very good friends. She's in the Pittsburgh group. It shows that Maryland and Pittsburgh can get along, even though you got the Ravens Steelers thing. Cynthia is a Broncos fan, but I'd like to welcome Cynthia to the show.
Cynthia, hey, how you doing?
Great. Thank you, Mike, for that lovely introduction.
So, Cynthia, well, first, let's get the soft stuff out of the way. First, Mike says Pittsburgh and Baltimore can get along, and then he ends it with, you're a Broncos fan. So you're in Pittsburgh, but you're a Broncos fan? You got to help us all get that one. What's up with that?
Yes, we moved to Pittsburgh 9 years ago, but I am a Denver Broncos fan still. You know how that rolls. So it's been a rugged year, but
yeah, right on. So tell us what you do. Tell us about your business. Now, again, as I tell all guests, we're going to be here for about 15 more minutes. So you don't have to give the whole story in the one answer. So tell
Right.
us about your business.
Well, I help people get what they want in business or in their personal lives. So my mentor, as was mentioned, is Bob, the great Bob Proctor, and he's probably considered the most. He was internationally the best human development person. He was the coach's coach. Most of your top people in my business were coached by Bob Proctor at some point. So I help people understand that we have everything within us to get what we want and to get where we want to go.
Okay. And how long have you been, what do you call yourself? Like, I'm a podcast host and podcast producer, and my company produces virtual events. That's what I do. I'm a podcast producer. What's the title for what you do? When someone says, you got 2 seconds, tell me what you do. What is it? What's your title? What do you do?
I'm a mind mastery expert.
Mind mastery
Some
expert.
people would call me a coach.
A coach. Okay, right on. And how long have you been doing this, Cynthia?
I've been doing this formally for over 2 years, but I've really studied it my whole life. I became what Bob called as an unconscious competent at 15. I went for a big, big goal and achieved it, and it changed things for me. And I knew I'd gone through this templated process. I didn't understand what it was. And I searched my whole adult life. I had businesses, I was successful, I was able to leverage my past experience and gain success rapidly in other businesses, but I didn't ever have that full template until I came across Bob Proctor's work and it was explained to me. And so now I just have so much joy in helping other people.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've mentioned Bob Proctor twice. For those that don't know, give me like the 1 minute, the minute, 15 seconds spiel on Bob Proctor. Who is Bob Proctor? What does he do? Why does that name keep coming up in this conversation?
Well, Bob Proctor, many might know him from The Secret. He was in The Secret quite a bit, the movie. But his story is quite unique. He was in his 20s. He'd failed at everything. He was working in a Toronto fire department, making $4,000 a year, and he was $6,000 in debt. As he says, a pretty impossible situation. And he had a mentor who started to work with him. And Bob said he didn't believe what the mentor told him, but he believed in the mentor. So he began to work with this mentor. By the end of that year, he was making $14,000 a month. And he went on to own businesses in 3 countries. And then he did a similar thing. He left. He was in London one night, and he decided that he really wanted to figure out what he had done. So he came back to the United States and worked with the great late Earl Nightingale. And then he built his own business after he spent 8 to 10 years. As Bob said, he spent a boatload of money and time figuring out exactly the process. And so that's what I bring people, this process based on 70 plus years of research.
Yeah. Right on, right on. So then how long have you known this guy named Mike Weiner, one of the coolest friends I have, period. And definitely someone that's helped me a great deal improve some of the businesses that I've worked with in the past. How long have you known Mike?
I've known Mike for 2 years, about this time. So we met through NRG, and
Yeah.
I've been in other networking groups, but nothing like NRG. So I'm so grateful to have Mike Weiner in my life, and we have become friends.
Yeah, it's really good guy. So I'm going to back out, let you and Mike talk for a little bit, and I'll join you in a few minutes. Take it away, Mike.
Thanks, Leon. So, Cynthia, we've known each other about 2 years. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world out there. A lot of people freaked out about what they think is coming. What is your advice to people when they wake up? You and I have talked about gratitude and things like that. If you had one thought that for what someone should do in the morning and they should do in the evening, what would that be when they wake up and when they go to bed at night? Consistent with law of attraction, what would you recommend people do? One tip.
One tip: wake up early in the morning and just sit without any thoughts coming into your mind. Sounds easy, and just try to sit in that time without any thoughts coming in. And then after you do that for a few minutes, I would go through some gratitude and be grateful, because that will raise your frequencies. We know that emotions are tied to frequencies, and gratitude is very high up that scale. And so that's where you want to start your day. You want to be at a high frequency.
Absolutely. You know, you and I have done some training, and as much as I know about law of attraction, the one thing you brought to me was frequency, because when Mike Weiner is at a high frequency, NRG goes through the roof. I mean, we bring in 2, 3, 4 members a day, and when I'm not at a high frequency, people can pick that up. I don't think people realize that, and attitude of gratitude and love are the two highest frequencies out there, and you've taught me that. What for you is your greatest satisfaction when you work with a client and they go through training with you? What is it that gets you juiced up, pumped up, fired up about working with a client and seeing them change literally in front of you and helping them manifest their goals? What is that excitement about for you?
It's when you teach these principles and you see, oh, and they make the connection and they understand that we have all faced these challenges. We had the screen up previously showing the paradigm. We all have a paradigm, and a paradigm is this program, let's look at it right here, that functions in the background. It's built in our subconscious mind. We all have one. Bob Proctor even had one. And so if you can see on this slide, we typically in life try to go after the behavior, that middle cog, because we all know behavior will create results. You know, if there's weeds in the garden and I go weed the garden, I'll get good results. But in life, we go after the behavior and it's hard, it's difficult, it doesn't feel good, and it doesn't stick. And it doesn't stick because if you can see that big cog of the paradigm functioning in the background, that's coming from this program that we all have built. It's just built in our subconscious mind. And so we have to learn to go after the paradigm. And when I can explain this to people and they understand we all have a knowing doing gap, in other words, we know more than we do, why is that? And it's because we have these paradigms. And so when people can look at this, and I help people look in a non-guilt way, and we can begin to understand you have within you the capabilities to make enormous changes and quickly, like Bob Proctor, to go from being sick, healthy, and broke to being very well off. And it has to do with this paradigm. It has to do with our subconscious mind, and it has to do with frequencies.
I've got one more question for you, and then I'll bring Leon back in. I've never asked you this question. It just flashed through my head. You know, this interview today, Cynthia, it will be on the NRG website, Facebook, LinkedIn. A lot of my members are parents, and a lot of people out there are parenting, and it, you know, arguably a very interesting time. What's the youngest age that someone could really learn from you? Is it high school? Is it college? Is it as a kid? You know, because I look back and I think, wow, if I knew this stuff back then, how much more would I have excelled in high school? Believe it or not, I was shy. I was shy. I was quiet. Went to college, Towson State, pretty much brought me out of my shell. Is there an age you would say that someone could start to learn this material? Because we got parents that want to parent. My guys are older, 26 and 21. I think you've met them on Zoom before, but what's the earliest age someone could really start to understand law of attraction and frequency?
Well, a parent could understand it from the moment they hold that baby. And if we can pull another slide up, maybe with the stick person, I can explain that. So we, as a baby, you only have a subconscious mind. So everything comes in and is imprinted. So that's where things start to form. By 2-year-old, at 2, then the conscious mind forms. So really, to impact a child starts from birth, but really the learning would start from 2 years old on. And that's why 3-year-olds are so, you know, they take it in. They just, you know, they're so thirsty for it. Our youngest granddaughter is blessed to be going to a school that's founded on Stephen Covey's principles, which are along the lines of what we teach. So she tells me things like she begins with the end in mind, and, you know, she's 6 years old and she loves school. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, I had So this is very important for parents, extremely important.
I appreciate it, Cynthia. I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm going to bring Leon back in. It's great to work with you with, law of attraction and frequency and building the Pittsburgh NRG group. We had a great guy out there yesterday who's been doing property and casualty for 20 years. He did join. He said, I've never seen a group so cohesive, and he joined right away. So I think he's going to be great. So Leon, I will turn it back over to you, my friend of about 25 years. Mr. Racquetball.
That's right. About 25 years. I'm Leon Thomas. You're watching NRG This Week. We're here with co-host Mike Weiner, the president and CEO of Network Referral Group. And our guest today is Cynthia Greathouse. We're going to continue that conversation, the conversation with Mike and Cynthia in 1 minute. But first, I want you to see an example of the work we do with the Leon Thomas Group. Not only this show, but check out this commercial piece with the voice of our voiceover artist, Kelly Johnson. Here we go. Water.
It's everywhere. We drink it, we bathe with it, we cook with it. Coffee's made with water. Toilets won't flush without it. It's used for washing clothes, dishes, utensils, pots, pans, floors, and our teeth. Plants and crops need water, animals drink it, and fish need it too. And don't forget, we can have a lot of fun in the water. Water. What will we do without it?
That work's done in-house by the Leon Thomas Group. If we can help you, podcasts, webcasts, virtual events, commercials, spots like that, please get in touch with me, Leon Thomas, at the Leon Thomas Group. We're here with Mike Weiner, CEO and president of Network Referral Group. You want to be an NRG member. I've known Mike for about 25 years. The very first time I met Mike, I secured $273,000 worth of business for a hotel that I was working at. You need to be an NRG member. And it sounds like you also should meet Cynthia Greathouse. Cynthia, before the show, we were going over some of the information you presented. We're going to go ahead and put some of that information up now. And as we put it up, why don't you take 30 to 45 seconds and talk to us about the significance of each of these pieces. Here we go. Tell us about this.
So we all have this paradigm built in our subconscious mind, and a paradigm is a mental program, as this says, that has almost exclusive control over our behavior, and most of our behavior is habitual, 94 to 96%. So what we need to do is rebuild the paradigm, because our paradigm is equal to our results. And if you don't think your behavior is habitual, how many of you drive to work and pull up to work and you don't remember the drive there? So this happens to everyone, but this is built in the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind has to accept everything. If we could look at our stick person, maybe another slide. The subconscious mind cannot differentiate between positive or negative. It accepts everything. So here's our stick person. No one, if I say, Leon, tell me about your front door, you have a picture of your front door, correct? And you know what that looks like. Mm-hmm. But your mind, no one's ever seen the mind. For our definition, the mind is what's impressed on every cell of our being. So here's our famous stick person. We have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and then the subconscious mind controls the body. So this paradigm gets built in our subconscious mind, and it it's our program that controls things. So to really change results quickly, we go after rebuilding a new paradigm. And the best way to do that is to work with a professional. It either happens two ways. Usually it's a space-time repetition, working with a professional, or it can happen from a big impact. Most of the time that's a negative impact. Mm-hmm. But okay. So here's a little graphic. You see, again, the conscious mind is our thinking mind, our educated mind, our intellect. It's where we choose. We can accept or reject an idea. Thoughts originate there. And then there's that line. That's where we need to protect what comes into our subconscious, because the subconscious mind gets messaging impressed into it all the time. And that's where that paradigm is built. So you can see this. We also have all of our senses go into our intellectual mind. And we have a lot of sensory perception hitting us every day. And then we also have these 6 mental faculties over here: perception, will, imagination, memory, intuition, reason. And I thought I understood these. I didn't until I studied with Bob, but no one taught me this in school. I didn't have anyone teaching me how to change my perception, how to truly use my imagination. Mm-hmm. And we work with the universal laws, as Mike mentioned. The law of attraction is actually a secondary law. That's why a lot of people get tripped up and they think they understand it, but they don't fully understand it. So we have everything within us to make these changes.
Now, Cynthia, if someone wants to get in touch with you, we're going to go ahead and display your email address. But because we also know that some folks are going to be listening to this only and not seeing it, we'd like you to go ahead and give us your email address while we display it. What's that email address, Cynthia?
It's Cynthia, CYNTHIA, at Ignite Your Mind. That's Ignite, IGNITE, Your Mind, MIND, .us. So Cynthia at igniteyourmind.us.
All right. And if someone wants to give you a call, the old-fashioned way, phone still. Cynthia, you know what? I saw a payphone the other day.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw a payphone. Yeah. And it was weird. I took out $1 bill and tried to put it in the phone. It wouldn't go in there. And I'm thinking, we haven't even improved the technology, but nobody's using payphones anyway. But I'm thinking, if I can go to a vending machine and slide $1 in and get a bottle of water, why can't I put $1 in an old-fashioned? That's got nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. What's your phone number, Cynthia?
Yeah, that's fun to hear. My phone number is 720-273-8984. You can call, leave a message, say that you heard about me from our NRG show here, which would really make me and Mike happy that you made the connection through NRG. Another example of how wonderful NRG is.
Yeah, indeed. Cynthia, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure to have you as our guest on NRG This Week. Thank you, Cynthia.
Yes. So what I always ask clients when they first work with me is, what do you want? What do you really, really want? And that's what we start with, and that's what we go for.
All right. And folks, if you'd like more information about Network Referral Group, you go to nrg.online, or you can email Mike at mike@networkreferralgroup.com. And I've been saying Mike's phone number for so long and have known it for 25 years. Watch, I'll say it now and screw it up. I'm going to sneak a peek and look at the screen. It's 443-756-9656. You want to contact Mike Weiner. Mike, Cynthia's a great guest. Thanks for having her on the show. Yeah. Cynthia, thanks for being here. Mike, thanks for the connection.
Appreciate you, Leon, having us. I've been working with Cynthia for a while. She's amazing. And, definitely reach out to her. And if you want more info on NRG, jump on the NRG experience tonight. So reach out to me as well. Thank you, Leon, as always.
Great. Folks, thanks for watching another episode of NRG This Week. We're here every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Thanks for watching NRG This Week.